Camping is a ton of fun, but there's a lot of preparation to do before the fun and afterwards, and that can be a real bummer for your camping plans. In this video, we're gonna go over some recommendations and tips on how to speed up your setup and pack-up process so you can spend more time on the fun bits. Let's dive in. A key thing you need to do is to pack your stuff into your car efficiently. That's going to apply both when you're on your campsite and when you're on your way home. Organizing sounds like it's an extra job you have to do, but it really pays off in the amount of time you save doing other things. Make sure that you know where things are packed. The tent and its materials should be packed separately and the food should be packed separately. If you're going in a group, each person should pack their clothes, shoes, gear, and other personal effects separately. Ideally, each person should be responsible for their own packing, while shared items like the tent can be a team effort. This entire process should be repeated again when it's time to go home. You really aren't going to be in the mood to sort through things when you get home after a long and exhausting camping trip. We get that this all sounds like a lot of work and a lot of responsibility to place on each person in your camping ground, but the amount of time and hassle it saves is not to be denied. When you arrive at your site, the first thing you'll need to do is set up your tent. Consider making that process easier with an instant set tent. Tents can be a real bear to set up a lot of the time. If you've ever had to struggle with putting up a tent, the idea of an instant set tent must sound really exciting. Let us tell you all about them. Basically, while your average tent will come with poles that you have to attach the panels of to your tent, an instant tent will have the entire skeleton built into the panels themselves. So instead of pitching tent poles and doing all that jazz, you pretty much just have to erect the tent and it'll hold itself up. The instructions on how to do this will vary from tent to tent, but it should take you a couple of minutes to do at most. By the time your tent is up, you'll be amazed at how much time you've spent on tents before, or if this is your first camp, you'll wonder what the big deal was. If you're looking for some instant tent recommendations, the Giselle T4 is a good choice for families of 4. It has plenty of room for people to sit in, and it's even tall enough to stand in. For couple campers, Coleman makes a great instant tent that you can set up in just 10 seconds. And if you'd like to go over the top, the Caddis Rapid is available in a 6-person option that you can set up in a jiffy. The other thing that's really hard to get done is setting up a fire. Here are some tips on how to have your fire going faster. Hunting down firewood on site is going to be a real pain. Luckily, firewood and coals are sold at any store that has a camping or barbecue section. Make this a BYOW or bring your own wood party. While you're at it, grab something to help get the fire going too. Lighter fluid is a classic choice, but the flare-ups can be dangerous for kids. Another option is to get a bag of fire starter cubes, which look like wood but are a lot more flammable. These can also double as kindling. If you're camping in a designated campground, look around to see if there are any built-in fire rings or grills. These are obviously meant for you to start a fire in, so they'll make your life easier. If you don't have built-in ones, make your own by encircling your fire with stones. This will contain the heat within the fire itself, allowing it to burn hotter and longer. The last step is to build the fire. Knowing how to lay out your firewood in advance can make this easier. There are basically 3 configurations you can go with. You build a cone of wood with your kindling the middle, or build a, quote, log cabin with your kindling in the middle. Or you could build an upside-down pyramid with your kindling. Not in the middle, but on the top. Once that's all done, light your kindling and help your wood catch. Fanning the flames will help them rise faster, but you should probably invest in a blower to save your arm strength. Now, even if you follow all our advice, it'll be dark by the time you get to eat and you'll be tired too. This would be a great time for an instant meal. After all, who's gonna bother cooking after putting in all this work, right? Nuts, dried fruits, and more fun items like potato chips are camp essentials since you can open them up and munch on them without having to prep them at all. But they can't and shouldn't replace your actual meals. Make sure to pack some meals that you can easily prepare in boiling water or something similar. Instant noodles or ramen are classic choices. They're good for more than just your college days. You can toss a brick of the noodles into boiling water, add the spice mix according to instructions, and you have dinner in a minute or so. When you're sitting down to eat after a long day outdoors, you'll be so glad for these. Oats and porridge are the breakfast versions of instant noodles. These two can be prepared in some boiling water, seasoned and garnished to your liking, and they make a deliciously quick breakfast. But here's something you may not have heard of: dehydrated meals. Have you been hit with a craving for Kathmandu curry in your camp? Some spaghetti with marinara sauce? Companies like Backpacker's Pantry and Healther's Choice have made a name for themselves for offering meals like these that can be heated up and ready to eat. These options are a bit more pricey though, so don't go crazy with them. Let's start thinking ahead to how you're going to decamp. The first thing you need to think about is trash. After living in the hotel of Mother Nature, you wouldn't be a bad guest and leave your garbage lying around, right? Collecting your trash can be an understandably annoying part of the camping process, but it's super easy to plan for. You need a place to store all your trash. Now, one way you could do this could be to just bring the garbage bags you use to line the trash cans at home. But it's not a very elegant solution and it'll smell. Luckily, you can find trash bags on sites like Amazon that have a lining on the inside that'll retain the smells. Once you're done camping, you can find a place to dispose of the trash. Many campsites will have trash collection points, but even if they don't, you empty the bag into the dumpsters in your area. The best part of all of this is that once you're done emptying the bag, you can use the bag on your next camping trip too. And on the subject of keeping things clean, consider cleaning your gear at the campsite too. When people talk about taking a piece of your adventure home with you, they're not talking about all the dirt and grime that your gear may pick up during the trip. Cleaning up your stuff is important, but why take the mess home with you when you leave it behind where you found it? Tents are, of course, made with non-absorbent materials. A little soapy water and a brush should be more than enough to get it nice and clean. Why not stop to give your tent a clean as you're tearing it down or once it's been dismantled? Shoes will pick up lots of dirt and gunk as you trapeze around the wilderness. A stiff brush should help you get them clean enough so you don't track the dirt at home. There's pretty much all the care your shoes need for now, and getting messed up in the wild is what those kind of shoes are made for. You should also brush off the surface level dirt of your clothes while you're at it. Stains and smudges are naturally gonna have to wait for a washing machine. Cooking gear is a little trickier. Washing your utensils and cutlery in the middle of the woods will leave wastewater around, which is bad for the plants and for animals who might end up consuming it. Solid food waste can be dumped into the trash bag, while anything else can be washed up in a nearby source of flowing water. If there's no flowing water, then your best bet is to save it for when you get home. That's it for today's video. Let us know what you thought of our tips today. And if we have any experienced campers in the comment section below, do share your own top tips for making camping a breeze. But before you go, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thanks for watching.